Well, guys, anytime that I went out on a date with a new woman or even started messaging with someone new, a couple of things always comes up within a few minutes of the conversation. One is that they're usually talking about their former husband or their former boyfriend, and it's usually they're talking bad about him, making that guy look like a monster. And he could be, might not be, I don't know. I'm just sharing one side of the story. And something else that's always brought up very, very quickly, 15, 20, 30 minutes at the most, if the woman in question, the woman I'm talking to, has kids. One of the first things she will bring up is that her kids always come first. And that's great, but what exactly does that mean? Her kids always come first. How does that have anything to do with meeting within the first 15, 20 minutes? You don't even know if you even like this woman or not. You don't know if you're going to go out with her or not again. You don't know anything about it at all, but she has to bring this up, that her kids always come first. And I never did really understand what that meant until here recently, and I kind of figured that out. And we'll talk more about my conclusions in a few minutes. But first, let's look at where that's a big issue at in a relationship. Where exactly would they have to choose between you and their kids? The only way that would happen is if you were some monster of a man that beat their kids, maybe, or that was, a molester or something like that, which would be awful. And they should definitely put their kids first in that situation. They should definitely put an end to that man, depending on what he is doing, if they catch him doing whatever. Definitely. But what other circumstances would this be, an issue? I mean, putting the kids first, what does that mean? What situation would warrant saying something like this, or even looking at things like this, without something drastic, like I talked about a minute ago, like someone beating or doing things they should not be doing to the children? Where would this even come up in a relationship? I mean, really? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I know mothers are trying to be protective, and they have to figure out, what kind of a guy this is. And one of the best ways to do that is to do a background check on the guy, or if you're a man, do a background check on the woman. If you get into a serious relationship, that's great. That's what you should be doing too, to find out what they've been into. Do you have any history of anything like child abuse or anything like that? But there's really no point in bringing this up, in my opinion, in every conversation, every woman, and I see them post this stuff on Facebook and things like that too. My children always come first. Great. But in what situation? Kind of explain what situation that they mean. I mean, if the kids want the mother to not like the boyfriend because they want the mother always for themselves, and don't want her to have a life outside of them and maybe their biological dad that they're divorced from or whatever, not living in the same house, obviously because she's out dating. Does that mean that if the kids don't like you for some reason, or just because they just don't like you because they don't want you around at all, does that mean that she puts them and what they want over a relationship or over dating or seeing you? If they want to, if you have a date and they want to stay home and not go to the babysitter or not go, with their biological dad that night for the date, does the mother call the last minute and cancel the date because, the kids don't want to go to their dad's house or don't want to spend time with the babysitter or something like that? I mean, what's this actually mean? The kids come first. And for how long? For how long? Does this mean that if you get with a woman that has small kids, that it's going to be the same way when the kids get 35, 40 years old and get to be adults or families of their own? Are they going to still yet, be the priority over you in a relationship, it doesn't really make any sense. I can see what they're saying, but I don't see the point in coming out and saying it, especially without explaining what it actually means. My kids come first. That's just a broad, sweeping statement. No decent man would expect a woman to put them over their kids' safety or their kids' well-being, but they don't say that. They just open it up to this big generalization of my kids come first. About what? When? For how long? I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. But every woman that I've dated in my life, and my ex-wife, whom I married, that's had kids. My ex-wife had 2 boys. And I've dated women with kids also. And every time, the kids has always been, usually, kind of standoffish for a little bit until they figure a guy out. Until they figure out what kind of guy that you actually are. Until they get kind of a feeling, of if you're dangerous or not. And they should. It's just common sense and it's instinct to do that. But after, a couple of weeks, the kids has always liked me. I've never dated a woman that's had kids or married a woman that's had kids, my ex-wife, like I said, that didn't like me. Kids like me for some reason. They always have. I think it's because I talk to kids, because I like kids, and because I carry conversations and I pay attention to kids. My dad, when I was growing up, and you would try to talk or anything, he'd just brush you aside and I wouldn't even talk, about anything. Me, I talk to kids. I explain things to kids. I try to teach things to kids. My ex-wife, her 2 sons, like me. And got along great. I saw her, we've not been together since 2012. And I saw her oldest son about 2 months ago, probably. And she had him when she was 15 years old, actually. But I saw her oldest son about 2 months ago, probably, it might have been 3 months. It's been a little while back. It's been several months ago. And I hadn't saw him in a long time. And he's in his 30s right now. And when he first saw me, he was happy to see me and gave me a hug. The last time I talked to her youngest son, which he is in his middle to late 20s now, should be. I have to figure it up. And I was with her for 11 years. And her youngest son, I talked to him, good conversation, and he said himself that I was one of the reasons that he turned out as good as he did. A girlfriend I dated, she had 3 sons, actually, and all 3 of her sons liked me. She had one that was 4 going on 5 when me and her got together. She had one that was 9, and then one that was, I think, 19 at the time, actually. And they all liked me. Her oldest son, he was gone quite a bit, because he was older, he was driving around, he was dating, he was spending time with his dad, he was hunting and things like that. But he still liked me. Her 2 youngest sons, they liked me a lot, and I was there a lot when they were there. Pretty much all the time they were there. And they would fight each other of who got to spend the most time with me, because they like me to play video games with them. They like to talk. They like to wrestle with me and things like that. They all like me. Her youngest son, when I would get ready to leave, I would have to try to sneak out, because I had to go. I had business to take care of. I had something to do. I'd have to try to sneak out of the house because he would be crying and screaming, holding onto my leg, begging me to stay. He didn't want me to leave. So her kids like me. Every woman that's had kids, her kids like me. I mean, their kids like me a lot. And like my ex-wife, her youngest son, I taught him how to read, taught him how to shoot, taught him gun safety, taught him how to tie his shoes, taught him pretty much everything, taught him how to box, and everything I could teach him, I taught him during that time me and her was together for 11 years. And hopefully I'm a great influence. Not all these guys are bad. Not all these guys that women go out with, if you're a woman watching this video, is going to be a detriment to your kids. Some men might be a benefit to your kids. Some guys might be better dads to your kids than their biological dad is. So don't come out within the first 15, 20 minutes with this bunch of stuff. My kids always come first. That's going to run a guy off. Because the guy already understands that abuse of the kids, you should be in jail for doing that. A guy understands that anything that hurts the children, anything that hurts their well-being won't be tolerated. A guy knows that instinctively. You need to do your background checks. You need to kind of vet that guy to make sure he's safe around your kids before you bring that guy around your kids. Don't bring 20 men around your kids in their kids' lifetime. You know, if you're a woman and the kids and you're dating a lot, which that's a bad sign when you're dating a lot. That's a sign you can't get along with anyone, actually. But and your relationships are very, very short, 3 or 4 months and it's over with. Next guy, 3 or 4 months, it's over with. Next guy, 3 or 4 months, it's over with. It shows there might be something wrong with you. My last relationship actually lasted over 3 years. So my relationships usually last a good long time. One relationship was over 4 years. Ex-wife was over 11 years. My last one was over 3 years. Another one was almost 3 years. So my relationships last several years. They don't usually last months. Sometimes a date don't work out, and that's not a relationship. That's over pretty quick. But not getting an actual relationship, it actually works out for quite some time. And where was that? Now, my train of thought. Anyway, not all men are detrimental. There's no need in coming out and saying, my kids come first. And they post this stuff even on their Facebook when they're not even trying to date anyone. They just put it on like a big billboard. My kids always come first. Okay. Okay, that's great. But I think a lot of this is, especially when they start posting this shit on Facebook like that, is they're trying to look like they're some great grand mother to their children. I think that's what it is. They're trying to put forth that they're this great mother, that they do everything for their kids to try to make other women, family members, other people see them as this great mother instead of just doing something to be a great mother. They'd rather say it and post it on Facebook and things like that to try to get attention, to try to get, thumbs up, you're a great mother. That's what a lot of it is, I think. And even when they go on the first date, within 15, 20 minutes, they're talking about this and saying this. I think it's a lot of what it is. They want to act like they're a great mother, and a lot of times that's because they're actually not, unfortunately. Anyways, let you take in the comments below about this. Give me your thoughts on this. This is something I wanted to talk about for a while, and I knew I'd get a lot of pushback. But I hope that you understand what I'm saying in this video and can get some answers in the comment section below. Anyways, if you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully.